Hey, you're tuned into Kana's Corner. Sorry for the little delay, but as you know, I'm here for an interview, and I have two special guests with me. What's going on? One is the specialer guest, just so you know, and that would be Daniel Floyd, who is my guest. Would you like to say hi?
You hear that? I'm specialer.
Oh,
And then I have Kips with
just in
me,
the
who is
corner
my...
now.
You're in the corner. You're in my corner. Who's my editor-in-chief, and he will be joining me for this interview. Or maybe I'll kick him out halfway through. We'll just see what happens.
Oh, well, you gotta be mean.
Ah, that's my job. And it's Friday. Ching! Anyway, Daniel, I'm so happy you could make it to the show. And as I was saying, behind the scenes, I remember watching your videos literally by your second or so. And I liked with your videos that they, took something and they made it interesting. And it was almost like a class in a way, but not in the boring way, because it was about video games. And
It had pictures and it was entertaining.
I was wondering though, were you a teacher? I mean, the first one is presented almost like a lecture for class.
Yeah, actually, the first two were for school. Wasn't planning on making a actual series out of it. The Yahtzee's zero punctuation reviews had just started coming out, and I was kind of being entertained by those. And then I was given an assignment. I had to write this 15-page thesis for an art history class and give a 10-minute oral presentation of it when we were done. And everyone was going to be doing little PowerPoint kind of stuff, and I just thought, why don't I do something a little more entertaining? And I just decided to kind of present that video instead of me going up and saying it, and
Hmm.
just tried to make it a little more entertaining. And I mean, it was for an art history class, so I don't think they cared about games that much, but they still seemed to enjoy it. At least they didn't seem as bored. So,
Now,
and
were the squigglies like your little drawings and that? Was that supposed to be in there, or was that kind of a last ditch effort? Well, this doesn't seem too hard. I'll just do these really quick.
I could do little drawings, but I did that first video literally in 2 days, just marathon, trying to get that done and finished. So it was just little cheap kind of doodle drawings were the only thing I could do to get that done on time. So,
Well, it turned out nicely.
oh, thank you. Yeah, and I kind of like just a nice little quick doodle scribble kind of drawing style for that anyway. So,
Yeah.
so it worked out.
Well, they're appealing and simple, and I think that's what makes the focus more on what you're saying than what we're seeing.
Yeah, I think that does help. And then the second episode I did, the video games and sex, was for another class where I decided, it was so much fun the first time, I'll just do a little sequel. And then after that, and that one kind of exploded and kind of ended up on Kotaku and Joystick and all these places out of nowhere and surprised
Gee,
me.
I wonder why.
Yeah, well,
Video games and sex.
Boom.
What more could you want?
Yeah, that to this day remains my most popular episode. But because it got everywhere, the two of the people that I quoted in it, Lee Alexander and James Portnow, I ended up getting in touch with them, and James Portnow talked to me and said, why don't we team up and do these together from now on? And I said, awesome, and we've been doing it that way ever since.
Now, did you know him beforehand, or did he just kind of appear out of nowhere?
I had never met him before. In doing all the research for the topic, I found an article by him, and that I think a lot of the history of games and sex I pulled from different sources, but kind of my viewpoint and perspective on what needs to happen and we need to start seeing more sex in games and all that sort of stuff came from that article of his. So I quoted him at least 2 or 3 times in that video, and so and he just kind of. I think I sent it to him. I think I sent the video to him after it was done, just saying, "Hey, I quoted you a whole lot in this, so I thought you might enjoy it." And then from then on, he and I have been doing them together.
I really don't have a picture of you.
Yeah, I still only have a tiny little low-res picture of him. I'm actually going to meet him for the first time at GDC in a month, so that's going to be fun.
Very
Nice.
cool. Are you guys going there as guests, or just for the fun of it?
I'm going there to beg for a job. He's going there. He has a job. but yeah, I'm an animation student. I've been studying 3D animation for 6 years, so I'm going to go and try to get employed for real. And he's going to hopefully introduce me to some people, and while I go and I'll get to go and buy him a beer or something for once.
Right.
Well, best of luck. That's really cool, actually.
Thank you.
I did watch some of your animation demos, and they were actually really good.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Hopefully good enough.
we totally have no idea how that part works. We just know more along the lines of the lectures. And I'll be honest, I kind of watching back on your videos because I did a spam watch of them on Monday when I found out you had accepted. I realized that you're the one who taught me what the uncanny valley was. I'd never heard anybody say anything about that, because when you talk to gamers, they're never like, yeah, it totally goes into the uncanny valley, man, and you're like,
yeah, it's one of those things I think everyone it makes a lot of sense to them, and they kind of might know it subconsciously, but they don't know it by name, and they don't know exactly exactly why the uncanny valley works that way with your brain. So yeah, I like that these videos are a little more educational. You can find gamers talking and ranting at length and being angry about just about any game, and you can find those very easily. But I thought just making one that's kind of educational and entertaining that people actually learn a little something from, I think was I don't know. I think it's what makes mine a little more unique.
I'd have to agree with that, especially when you touched upon it on your video games and learning. It's the exact same thing. It doesn't feel like learning. It feels like you're watching somebody's viewpoint and you're kind of relating to it, and then you can give sort of your countermeasure in the comment section without yelling in all caps.
Yeah, that's exactly what I hope for. And so and I have gotten a lot of feedback. For YouTube comments, my comments seem to be pretty nice and tame and well written. I'm kind of proud of that in a way, that the YouTube people who comment on my YouTube videos are not all total idiots. And I actually get good feedback. I get lots of people saying they actually learned something from it. And every now and then I get like an email from somebody who does not play games, who does not care about them, who says, like, some gaming buddy of mine showed me your video, and I never thought about games that way. That actually makes a lot of sense, and it's pretty cool. And that's like the best kind of feedback I've ever gotten. Just actually informing people who do not play games or care about them. That's pretty rewarding.
Now, obviously, you're pretty busy because, and you take the time to put in a lot of work for all these episodes, because it takes quite a while for each one to get out.
Yeah, that's true. I wish I could come out with a more reliably and quicker. I know like the first episode I did literally like in 2 or 3 days. It was a rush job, and I worked almost every waking hour on it, but I could get it done that way. But since then, just life has gotten a little more busy, and I've not really been able to keep up that schedule, so I just kind of have to find time here or there to work on it.
I know how that is.
Yeah.
I barely have time to play video games or watch anime anymore. Curse you, 918 the fan.
Yeah, and there are still more coming out. In fact, I actually recorded the narration for the next one yesterday, and I'm probably I need to edit it down a little bit to fit under the 10-minute YouTube limit today. But so they are still coming out, just about 3 or 4 months apart, which is a bummer, and I'd like to make that a little faster. And hopefully, maybe once I've actually kind of gotten employed and my schedule has evened out a little bit, maybe I can start making these a little quicker. But we'll see. I hope.
Out of curiosity, have you ever thought of hosting maybe the longer versions on another video site, such as Blip TV or VO or whatever is still in existence out there?
I have thought of it, and I should spread these videos out a little bit more. I finally, like a couple of months ago, put them on like Screw Attack or some other site, and maybe I should spread them out to other places like Vimeo and Blip TV and such. And they really don't go any longer than 10 minutes for the most part. This latest one that I'm working on is the first time that I ended up being like 2.5 minutes over and being surprised, and oh crap, I got to figure out how to edit this down. So usually I don't want to make them too long, because I think I can be entertaining enough to keep people's attention for about 7 to 10 minutes. Any more than that, and I'm sure some people would stick around, but I think a lot of people are going to start getting tired of the voice or just lose interest in what I'm saying. So I try to keep it short and sweet.
Well, the way I sort of see it is, the reason that I like you is, how you had that one really cool teacher in school that you loved,
yes.
And they could have been teaching, anything, but somehow they made it interesting. Most of my history teachers did this for whatever reason. And when I watch your videos, that's sort of the same thing that I kind of get from it. And so it's hard to get bored because you make it interesting.
Well, thank you. That's what I try to do. Usually the working relationship that I have with James is that he is kind of the idea man. He's a lot of any of the brilliant ideas or like perspectives you hear on an issue in my videos probably came from him. Like 90% of them all come from him because he is a professional game designer. He co-founded his own studio. He's been doing this for years. He knows a lot about it. But so he sends me a column that he's written, which is usually directed a little more toward his fellow game designers and fellow industry professionals. And I take that and kind of rewrite it. I make it a little funnier. I punch it up. I kind of simplify it and make it a little easier to present, and then present it instead of to the rest of the industry like he does. I try to present it more to fellow gamers and fans and just game enthusiasts. So that's really mostly my job, is trying to make it entertaining and interesting. So I'm glad it's working.
Well, it's really a team job then.
Yeah, it really is. So.
Well, very awesome. We're gonna go to a short break, but when we come back, we'll bug him even more. So stay tuned.
Hey, bug him.
To 91.8 The Fan, everything you want to hear and nothing you don't. 918thefan.com. Have you logged on today?
Who, me? No. No?
iStock's daily news show, video reviews, articles, forms in an anime directory. Don't get left behind. Log in today. Only on
918thefan.com?
918thefan.com.
All right, 918thefan.com.
And in this corner, which is the Kana's corner, we have two awesome people with us. One is actually not really a guest. He's kind of just here for me to poke fun at. That would be Kibbles, our editor-in-chief. And then we also have Daniel with us.
Hey, guys.
And we were actually having quite an interesting talk behind the scenes about video game collecting, which is a sort of off-topic of your videos. But I am curious as to your stance on trading games and things like that.
I mean, I have traded in a few games now and then every now and then I'll buy one and kind of years down the line remember that I never had fun playing this and I don't really even like it and I'm not even sure I want it in my collection. So I'm okay trading those in, but I kind of have a list of games that I have liked over the years that I plan to buy and collect and end up having in a collection later on. I like hanging on to games that I have enjoyed and I don't want to lose track of, even if I don't plan to play them again.
And then there's always that inkling feeling that 3 months down the line, I really wish I could play this. Why'd I trade this in?
Yes, that is that happens.
That happens with me all the time. Which is sad. That's why I don't trade anything in anymore. But hopefully you'll approach a video about that in the future, because it seems that the industry is very gung-ho against trading in most respects.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if we will do that soon. I haven't actually been the one who's chosen a lot of our topics lately. I have chosen a couple, but since James is kind of our main writer, he tends to kind of send me a few columns he's written to kind of choose from to work with. So it's kind of a mystery to me too what we're going to be doing next.
Now that makes me wonder, did you actually know about the 6 days in Fallujah, or was that all him being like, hey, check this out?
I had known about the game. I'd heard about the game and I'd heard about the controversy happening, but I hadn't heard, and I'd heard a few perspectives of people saying it was all right or it seemed okay or they weren't really sure if it was going to be that good. I hadn't heard a whole lot, and he had a much kind of more hands-on, he had a much more, I guess, industry side perspective on it that I hadn't considered before, and actually made a lot of sense when I saw it written down. So I knew about it, but he really kind of, his perspective, I think, is a very good one. You can hear it in the video.
I mean, I once again was apparently in the dark. I'm like, I go to all these news sites. Why didn't I pay attention to this? Oh, it's a shooter. or something along those lines was probably my thought process. But I was amazed that, something got backing from Konami, of all people, and then they kind of just were like, whatever, and they pulled the rug.
Yeah, I still don't understand that myself. I mean, I figure if they planned on backing it in the first place, they had to know that it was going to be a little controversial at least. And it seemed just kind of at the first sign of controversy, they got out of there really quick. So I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking on that one.
It was a little amazing to me because while these aren't really controversial games, they're still, I guess you could say violent and gory games such as like, the Silent Hill series or Saw, those
Yeah.
sometimes get, ridiculed for being too violent. The least they could have done was try and go for this project. It's not to the same degree, obviously, but it seems like rather insane not to.
Yeah. I mean, I guess with the Fallujah game, you kind of have the. It's tricky because it's going to hit close to home to some people. I mean, there will be people who've lost friends or family in those battles, and it wasn't that long ago. So I mean, it's just kind of.
Right, it's
I guess a lot of
too
people might have
current.
felt that it's just too soon, kind of for that. But and I mean, they have a point that there are good arguments on both sides. It's just kind of a shame that the game was so quickly kind of taken down by just that first wave of controversy.
Yeah, it was very much cast aside, and now the company's kind of pretty much gone, from last I heard.
Yeah, I tried to get James to figure out if they were still around, if they were still alive or not, and he even wasn't sure himself. He said it sounded like they were kind of in a limbo between maybe still alive, maybe dead. I'm not sure.
I mean, the last article I had read on the company had said something along the lines of that there were only about anywhere from three to four people. Everybody else is pretty much in the process of being fired, and the other people were just basically, cleaning up the aftermath.
Yeah.
So that's pretty sad.
It's a bummer.
Now, out of sheer curiosity, can you tell us a little bit about the video you're planning next?
Yes, the next one that I'm working on is another one like the video games and choice episode, kind of that game design corner, game design focused stuff, and it's still on choice, but it's about moral choice systems in games, like those ones you see in all the BioWare RPGs and Bioshock and stuff like that, and kind of just addressing how we've never really these games are getting better, but they haven't really game designers haven't really mastered this moral choice system so far. We kind of address what's gone wrong so far and ways that and kind of suggestions for improvement in the future.
Like a middle ground, maybe.
Yeah, kind of like the middle ground is a good start. I guess Fallout 3 was one of the ones that finally started letting us choose to be somebody that's kind of a gray area guy.
So it's not either Mother Teresa or even babies.
Yeah, basically.
Well, see, I like being Mother Teresa.
I always end up being Mother Teresa by default too, and even when I'm not trying to. But yeah, I think it's an area that games still can definitely improve. And I don't know if either of you tried Dragon Age, but Dragon Age was definitely an improvement. So it's going to be a good episode whenever I finally get around to finishing it. I've recorded the narration now. I just have to actually make the video and find time to do that. So hopefully soon.
What I know with Dragon Age, it was because I remember a customer coming in and talking to me about it, that while there was, yes, the good choice, the bad choice, and the middle ground choice, you couldn't always figure out what was the good choice. I might be saying a possible spoiler, so anybody out there, I guess, close your ears. But apparently you have to save this child from either being sacrificed, something along those lines, and, to do so, you can either apparently kill his father, you can try and defeat the demon inside of him, or you can, sacrifice his mother, who's volunteered. And it's very hard to find the good choice in all of this.
Yeah, Dragon Age was good at that. And one of the things they did really well is that they did not include the sort of a meter, the sort of like how good or how evil you are. They didn't. If you made a decision, they didn't immediately tell you that's +3 to righteousness or +2 to evil.
Right.
It was kind of ambiguous. You didn't really know if your choices were right or wrong, and sometimes you had to make a choice where there didn't really seem to be a right answer. Which a lot of times that's kind of how real moral choices are. Sometimes it's just you don't really know which answer is the right one. You just kind of try to choose the best one as you go along. So I think Dragon Age was definitely a big step up for those kind of games.
I do think doing it properly would take a lot of more thought and on-hands approach and more production time and everything, because you really have to test that nothing goes screwy in the system.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, we can talk all day about how great Dragon Age did about this, how great BioWare did with Dragon Age, but they worked on that. They've been working on that game since 2003. I think Wind Waker came out the year they started working on this game.
Oh wow!
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not everybody can afford to work in a game that long. So, but we can still learn from it though.
It's because they're Bioshock, and they have Mass Effect too.
Yeah, basically yes. They can do whatever they want now.
Now, or I'm sorry, Bioshock, BioWare, yay! I caught up on my mistake there.
Oh, whatever. They're both good.
But I do remember because I did play the original Mass Effect, and I did replay Jade Empire, and I remember that didn't necessarily have a meter, I believe, because it's been a while since I played it. But you had basically a halo if you were a good guy. Which I thought was pretty terrible. You just if you let your character just sit there, they would if they were good, because I always went for the good characters, as I said, they would put their hands together like they were praying, and then like a little behind the head halo would appear, and they'd all start glowing all holy, and it's just like, I don't do that normally. So I can see how the argument there is can counter some of those things.
Yeah. Well, it's just if players know can immediately tell which is the good choice, which is the evil choice, they'll just kind of start. It's not really engaging or fun anymore. They'll just start kind of deciding which way you want to answer. Just kind of click, okay, good choice, bad choice, good choice, bad choice, and you're not going to be getting people, and people aren't going to be sitting there debating like the actual morality of the situation. They just kind of look past it and see the in-game rewards or whatever. So I think if games want to make their choices, the choices they give the player, really engaging and really exciting and really things that the player sits and thinks about, even for a while after they've made the choice, they're wondering if they did the right one, then they're going to have to get a little more ambiguous with it and make the choices a little more like they are actually in real life. So, but all that'll be in the video someday when it comes out.
Well, we'll expect it within the next 3 months. How does that sound?
That's realistic.
Okay, cool. We're not gonna hover over you now, being like, make it.
I probably need somebody hovering over me, honestly.
Well, that depends, though. You know, you don't want to rush good work either.
That's
Right.
true. That's true.
But is there anything else that you want to plug or you want our listeners to know about?
I can't think of anything right now. I mean, just videos are still coming along. You can check it. You can kind of check in at the blog that I have where I kind of post updates of things that are happening. I think that's videogamesand.blogspot.com. That's all one word, videogamesand.blogspot.com. And you can kind of get regular updates there. And also, I don't know if anybody's going to be at GDC this year, anybody who's listening, but I'll be there. I won't be featured there. I'll be there begging for jobs, but shoot me an email or something if you're planning on going, and we'll say hi.
Very cool. I wish we were going because we'd probably stalk you.
Right.
That's oh god, how many conventions do we have this year now? 15 or something?
15 or 16.
15? That's a lot of conventions to go to.
Yes, it is.
I think the two of us are only going to like 5, maybe.
It's we have a team of about 12 to 15 people, and they volunteer like, hey, I can do reporting at this convention, so
Okay.
we ship them off somewhere with a camera, who knows where, and then hopefully they come back alive and our camera comes back alive. We care about the camera a little bit more though. But you know, before I let you go, because it looks like I'm being poked that I'm running out of time, sadly, I was wondering if you'd participate in a 91.8 The Fan tradition.
Sure. What is it?
We usually ask everybody who comes on if they do a bump, and I know you're not a professionally trained voice actor, so I will type this or Kips will type this, depending. But we were wondering if you could say, if you can remember, my name is, insert here, I do this, insert here, and you're tuned into 91.8 The Fan.
Okay, sure. Would you like me to? I don't know if this will work. Would you like me to record this for you guys? Like do the pitch voice and everything? Or
Sure, if you like.
If you want to do that.
I can do that. I've done that occasionally for some people too. If they're using my voice in something, just I don't know. It's the voice people know.
We mostly put it on air just for the funny little goof ups.
Okay.
Let's see. All right. I don't know what I do.
Do you need us to write it down for you?
Oh, I've got it. He just sent it to me. Let's see. All right. See.
Oh, fine.
So I just do it right now?
Yeah, just
If you want
right
to.
now.
Yeah.
My name is Daniel Floyd. I do whatever it is that I do, and you're tuned in to 91.8 The Fan.
Very nice.
That was great.
Nobody will know who you are that way, but that'll be awesome.
I'll record it. I'll hang on. Let me bring up Sound Studio. I'll record that for you guys real quick.
Oh, you don't have to do that right now.
All right.
Yeah, we can wait until we're off air. But is there any other social networking sites that our listeners can track you on, or just your YouTube and your website?
Yeah, I think YouTube is probably the best bet. That's where you can find everything easily. I do hope to have an official website for these things someday, but someday I'll have time.
Time is always a huge factor.
Yes.
Well, we do appreciate you being on the show, and I'm sure all of our listeners did. And now I'm going to make sure all of them watch the videos because they're awesome. And we will post this interview up on the website later. So everyone who's tuned in to 91.8 The Fan, if you missed it, stay tuned to our website at www.918thefan.com. Stay tuned.
W.
Well, did I said www.
You always say www instead of www.
Well, because we're so awesome, we don't need another W.
Actually, you don't even need the W's.
Well, that's true. But
Don't use enough.
anyway, stay tuned for some awesome tunes.